There comes a time to put away childhood things, but some things won't stay put. Look who's stalking. Let's talk about Child's Play 3 right now. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So greetings my fellow YouTubers and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, and I'm going to be bringing to you another review of the Child's Play Chucky series. If you have not seen my re-reviews of the first two movies, I advise you to click on that card right there and go to the playlist, which I've fixed up so you can catch those two. Catch up with what you missed at those, or see them again if you want before I go into this. I'll give you a few more seconds to do that. Okay, now, let's get into my re-review of Child's Play 3. Released by Universal in 1991, directed by Jack Bender. This film was kind of rushed. It was released 9 months after its predecessor. With Brad Dourif returning as the voice of Chucky, the story takes place 8 years following the events of Child's Play 2 and 1 month before the events of Bride of Chucky, which was made 7 years later. David Kirshner returns as executive producer this time since he produced the first two installments. This film became notorious in the UK when it was suggested it might have been, the inspiration for the real-life murders of a couple of British children. Suggestions rejected by officers investigating both cases on these children, James Bulger and Suzanne Capper. Anyway, let's get into the story. 8 years after Chucky's second demise, the Play Pals company has recovered from the bad publicity brought about by Chucky's murder spree and resumes manufacturing the Good Guy dolls. The company restores the abandoned factory where Chucky's mutilated body still remains and starts releasing a new line of Good Guy dolls. However, the crane inadvertently punctures Chucky's body, which sprays blood into a vat of plastic. Which, of course, that's when we get into our opening credits. Since the soul of serial killer Charles Lee Ray still inhabits the remains, the mixture causes Chucky to be reborn. Yes, and soon, Mr. Sullivan, the CEO of the Play Pals company, receives the first good guy of the 90s. But apparently, Chucky comes to life and gets and is like, "Don't fuck with the Chuck!" Yeah, warning, this will have a little bit of language, so maybe a tiny bit, so, just parental discretion is advised, okay? He manages to stop him and strangles him with a yo-yo. Yeah, and then uses computer records to locate Andy Barkley, who is now a teenager. Still troubled by his past encounters with Chucky, has been sent to Kent Military Academy after failing to cope in several foster homes after the events of the second film. Colonel Cochran, the school's commandant, begrudgingly enrolls Andy but advises him to forget his fantasies about the doll. Andy befriends cadets Harold Aubrey Whitehurst, who is his roommate, and Ronald Tyler, an 8-year-old cadet he met on his way to Kent, which you unfortunately don't see in the actual version. You can find it in a deleted scene, though. And Kristen De Silva, for whom he develops romantic feelings. He also meets Brett C. Shelton, a lieutenant colonel who routinely bullies the cadets. Yeah. And, boy, this guy's like, wow. Trust me. Anyway, shortly after Andy arrives, Tyler is asked to deliver a package to his room. Tyler realizes that the package contains a Good Guys doll after he saw a commercial a little bit a few minutes ago and is excited. He takes it to the cellar to open it, only to have Chucky burst free from the package. When Chucky sees that Andy is not there, he is furious that Tyler took the package. Remembering the rule from his late voodoo instructor, John Bishop, that's his actual name, aka Dr. Death from the first one, I forgot to bring that up, that he can possess the first person who learns his true nature and that he has a new body. So Chucky tells the secret and decides to make Tyler his new target. So Chucky prepares to play his game of hide the soul, giving the voodoo chant. But just as Chucky is about to possess him, Cochran interrupts him and confiscates the doll, later thrown into a garbage truck. However, Chucky escapes by luring the driver into the truck's compactor and crushing him. Later on that night, Chucky attacks Andy and tells him his plans for taking over Tyler's body instead of Andy's, and warns Andy to stay out of his way. Before Andy can attack Chucky, Shelton comes in and takes Chucky away from him. Andy tries to reclaim it by sneaking into Shelton's room, but is caught in the act. Upon realizing the doll has vanished, Shelton suspects it's stolen and forces all the cadets to do exercises in the courtyard as punishment. Yeah, when Chucky comes for him, Tyler's playing hide and seek in Cochran's office, where Chucky finds him and attempts to possess him again. However, they are interrupted by De Silva and another female cadet, Ivers, and moments later, Cochran himself. But however, they manage to get away, taking Tyler with them. The cadets leave a knife-wielding Chucky and suddenly confronts Cochran, which forces him to one of the craziest deaths you can ever imagine, and boy, shocking him into suffering a fatal heart attack. And Chucky's like, forgive the language, you have got to be fucking kidding me. Yeah. The next morning, Andy tries to convince Tyler that Chucky is evil, but Tyler refuses to believe him. Meanwhile, Chucky kills the camp barber, Sergeant Bodnick. I better get to him after he's taking care of Whitehurst. Now, Sergeant Bodnick, of course, has some memorable lines, like once he's finished with Whitehurst, and also early on Tyler. It's like, presto, you're bald. Yeah, and once he's about to get Chucky, he says it to Andy. He's like, kiss it goodbye. Yeah. So apparently, Chucky's feeling a little, I don't know, Bonnick's about to shave Chucky's hair off, but he catches the Sarge in the act by slashing his throat with a razor. Just like how I explained about the military cut, saying that ones is slit their throats, what they would do, and well, you probably know if you've seen the movie. It's like, presto, you're dead. Like, it's definitely you. Whitehurst witnesses this, but runs off after getting taunted by Chucky. Andy, realizing why Whitehurst is so frantic, tries to convince him to back him up, but he refuses. Despite Cochran's death, Sergeant Clark declares that the school's annual war games will proceed as planned, with Andy and Shelton on the same team. However, Chucky secretly replaces the paintballs of the red team with live ammunition. When the simulation begins, Chucky accosts Tyler, finally realizing that Andy was telling the truth about Chucky. Tyler stabs Chucky with a pocket knife and flees to find Andy. Chucky then attacks De Silva and holds her hostage, attempting to lure the teams into fighting each other to save her. Chucky forces Andy to exchange De Silva for Tyler. Suddenly, the red team descends upon the area and obliviously opens fire with their live rounds. One hits Shelton, killing him instantly. Okay, now for the final act and ending. As always, you know the procedure. 5 seconds to stop this video, go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below to avoid ending spoilers. If you've seen the movie already, continue on after the 5 seconds are over with. Thank you for your understanding, and here we go. Okay, you've been warned. Amidst the chaos, Tyler makes a quick getaway, but before giving chase, Chucky tosses a live grenade at the quarreling cadets. Recognizing the danger, Whitehurst leaps on top of the grenade and sacrifices himself to save the others. With no time to mourn his friend, Andy heads off to pursue Chucky, with the Silver close behind. Eventually, the chase leads the group into a high house at a nearby carnival. Tyler tries to get a security guard to help him, but Chucky kills the guard off screen. Yeah, another off screen kill, and kidnaps Tyler. Boy, it's shocking, what have you. Well, the Silver's trying to shoot him, but Chucky shoots her in the leg, leaving Andy to fight Chucky alone. Once Tyler's been cornered, um, as he's knocked out, apparently. Well, not yet anyway. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. One of the characters in the haunted house's scythe comes down and slices half of Chucky's face off after finding a trapped tower. But once he manages to get away, he is inadvertently knocked out. Chucky seizes the opportunity to possess him, but Andy manages to intervene by shooting off Chucky's left arm and then right in the chest. Andy manages to get to Tyler and manages to get him up, but soon Chucky springs up, enraged, and attempts to strangle Andy. But Andy uses Tyler's knife, which Andy gave to him, to cut off Chucky's hand, and then hurls him into a giant fan, shredding him to pieces, and boom! Afterwards, the police take Andy into custody for questioning, and De Silva is rushed to the hospital, leaving Tyler's fate unknown as the carnival shuts down. End of story. So what did I think of Child's Play 3? Well, it was the second Child's Play flick I remember seeing after seeing the previous one. Well, I can say that cast is hit or miss and what have you. We have Justin Whalen portraying Andy in this. Of course, he would later go on to play Jimmy Olsen on Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman, and of course, he recently played in a few episodes of Charles in Charge. Before this, let's see. We also have Jeremy Sylvers as Tyler, and he's an okay character. Not almost kind of like the way Alex Vincent played Andy in the first film. Perrey Reeves, who I later got to see her years later on HBO's Entourage as De Silva. Pretty good. Dean Jacobson as Whitehurst. Yeah, not too bad. Travis Fiennes as Shelton. Yeah. I'd later see him make a small appearance in the underrated film Tomcats. Let's see. Andrew Robinson, who I've seen him make appearances on shows like The Dukes of Hazzard and The A-Team. He played Sergeant Bodnig. Dakin Matthews, he recently appeared on some episodes of My Two Dads, and he would later go on to appear in the first season of the Jeff Foxworthy Show. It's Colonel Cochran, and we also have Pierre Haskell back as Mr. Sullivan as well. So anyway, cast is reasonable and all that stuff. It's just kind of a mixed bag and what have you. The music's done by Corey Lirios and John D'Andrea. Yeah, because it would have been nice to have Graham Revell back, but he was probably doing more scores for other movies at the time. Oh, but of course he would be back to do Bride of Chucky, however. Anyway, the film kind of got mostly negative response, but it's become a cult classic though. Still, I will say that the story's not too bad. I kind of appreciate the military academy thing, and I do like the carnival for the final act, so that was pretty good too. So anyway, yeah, those are just some good things I like about it. But anyway, with all that said and what have you, would I recommend Child's Play 3? Well, I'd say give it a one-time watch, okay? If you're not satisfied with this film, just pass on and go to something else. Because we wouldn't see Chucky again for another 7 years when he would return in Bride of Chucky 7 years later. Child's Play 3 came out in August of 1991, so I'm just a little late for its 30th anniversary, so I'm cool with that. Well, just a little over a month. Anyway, and the film kind of did less than its predecessor, making only $20 million overall. So anyway, that's about it. So, what are your thoughts on Child's Play 3? You can tell me in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you my Bride of Chucky re-review, but also stay tuned for my next Wide World of Game Shows episode on Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you like this, check out some of these other horror flicks that I've reviewed. In the upper left-hand corner is my spoiler-free review of the Fear Street trilogy. The upper right-hand corner is my review of another underrated third film. Child's Play 3 is a bit underrated, but here's one flick that's even more underrated, and that would be Halloween 3 Season of the Witch from 1982. But unfortunately, while I'm reviewing some of the Halloween films this year, I'm not re-reviewing that. Maybe next year, but enjoy my actual review of that. Or if you want, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my review for another threequel that Universal put out, and that would be the third Evil Dead movie, Army of Darkness. And the bottom right-hand corner is a button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.